She didn't even blink when she pushed me down the stairs, like my pain was entertainment for her. I still remember the cold floor and her smirk fading into darkness as my head hit the last step. Before I continue, if stories about betrayal, karma, and shocking family secrets give you goosebumps, hit subscribe, like, and share this video. Because what happened next will leave you speechless. When I opened my eyes in the hospital, my body felt like glass. Every breath hurt. My parents stood beside my bed, not crying, not even worried, just whispering to each other like I was an inconvenience. I could barely speak, but I caught my mom's words. "We'll tell everyone it was an accident." An accident? My sister Sophie had screamed at me minutes before it happened, accusing me of ruining her perfect life. She'd found out that I told Dad about her secret credit card debt. But no one wanted to talk about that part. They wanted silence. The doctor walked in, holding my x-rays. He looked pale. My parents exchanged a glance, the kind of look people share when they're hiding something. I asked what was wrong, but my mom gripped my hand too tightly and said, "Don't worry about it, Aaron. Just rest." But I saw the way the doctor's hands shook. And I realized something inside me had broken. Not just bones, but trust. And that's when I knew. This wasn't just an accident. It was a warning. The next morning, the house was quieter than ever. Too quiet. My parents acted as if nothing had happened. Sophie sat at the breakfast table scrolling through her phone, pretending I didn't exist. Every movement she made felt intentional, like she wanted me to know she wasn't sorry. The doctor came by again later that day. My parents rushed to talk to him before I could. I saw the nurse's uneasy face when she whispered something to him, and he just nodded, tightening his jaw. My curiosity burned stronger than my pain. When they left the room, I asked the nurse directly what was on those x-rays. Her eyes darted to the door, then back to me. "You should ask your parents," she said quietly. And that's when I knew something was seriously wrong. That night, I heard my parents arguing in the hallway. My mom's voice cracked. "We can't let her find out, do you understand? It'll destroy everything." My father just said, "Then we better make sure she keeps quiet." I lay there frozen, pretending to be asleep. What were they hiding? What could possibly be in those x-rays that would destroy everything? The next day, Sophie came to visit me alone. She sat beside my bed, chewing gum like it was just another day. "You're tougher than I thought," she said with a grin. Guess the stairs didn't do the job. My blood ran cold. I stared at her, speechless. She leaned in closer, her perfume burning my nose. "Don't make Mom and Dad's life harder, Aaron. They're already under pressure. Just forget it happened." Forget it happened? My body was covered in bruises, my ribs cracked, and my head still pounding, but she wanted me to stay silent. Something inside me snapped. I wasn't just hurt anymore. I was angry. That evening, I called the nurse again. This time I begged her to show me my file. She hesitated, then finally slipped me a copy of my medical report when no one was watching. My hands trembled as I unfolded it, but as my eyes scanned the paper, my heart dropped. The x-rays didn't just show broken bones. They showed something that shouldn't even be there. It looked like a shadow, deep inside my chest, something the doctor had circled in red ink. At first, I thought it was just another fracture, but the label next to it made my breath catch. Foreign object, metallic. My head spun. How could there be metal inside me? I stared at the report, replaying that night over and over in my mind. The fall, the pain, Sophie's face, my parents' whispers. None of it made sense, until I remembered what happened right before she pushed me. She had been holding something in her hand, small, shiny, like a piece of jewelry. Could she have? No, that was insane. But then again, so was everything else. I needed answers, and I needed them fast. When the doctor came for rounds, I confronted him. "What exactly is in me?" I asked. He hesitated, glancing at the door as if checking if someone was listening. "You should really talk to your parents about that," he said carefully. "It's not my place." I grabbed his wrist, weakly, but enough to make him stop. "Please," I whispered. "They're hiding something from me." "I deserve to know," he sighed, lowering his voice. "We found a small piece of metal lodged near your ribs. It's not from the fall, Aaron. It was placed there." My mind went blank. Placed there? I could barely process his words. He looked at me with pity before walking away, leaving me shaking. My parents had insisted it was just a fall. Sophie had laughed about it. And now, there was proof that someone had done this. Intentionally. That night, I pretended to be asleep when my parents entered the room again. My mom whispered, "She can't know we took her for that scan. If she remembers," my father interrupted. "We had no choice." Sophie panicked. It went too far. My heart stopped. My own family had known something like this could happen, and instead of saving me, they'd chosen silence. I didn't sleep at all. The next morning, I called my friend Daniel, someone I hadn't spoken to in months because my family hated him. He was the only one I trusted. When he heard my voice, he knew something was wrong. "Aaron, are you safe?" he asked. I told him everything. The fall, the x-rays, the metal. There was a long silence on the line before he said, "Aaron, you need to get out of that house, now." But before I could even plan anything, Sophie walked in again, this time with a fake smile and a gift box in her hand. "Thought you might want something to cheer you up," she said sweetly. Inside the box was something that made my blood freeze. Inside the box lay a delicate silver necklace, the same one she wore the night she pushed me. Only now it was broken, and one small piece was missing. My fingers trembled as I touched it. "Where did you get this?" I asked quietly, my throat tight. Sophie smiled, that same cold, careless smile, and said, "Guess it got damaged when you fell. Must have snapped right off me." My heart pounded so hard it hurt. The missing piece. Could it be the same metal fragment in my ribs? Suddenly it all connected. The fall, the x-rays, the red-circled shadow. My sister's necklace had stabbed into me when she shoved me down the stairs, and my parents were hiding it to protect her. I looked at Sophie, and for a moment, I saw no remorse, only fear. Maybe she wasn't as untouchable as she acted. "You could have killed me," I said, my voice shaking. "But that's the part you wanted, isn't it?" Her grin vanished. "You have no proof," she snapped. "Mom and Dad already fixed everything, so keep your mouth shut." Before I could respond, my mom entered the room, holding her purse tightly. "Sophie, go wait in the car," she said sharply. Sophie hesitated, then left, but not before giving me one last chilling look. My mother turned toward me, her tone suddenly soft. "Aaron, honey, we just want peace in the family. Please don't talk to anyone about this. You'll only make things worse for all of us." I stared at her in disbelief. "You're asking me to protect the person who almost killed me?" Her face hardened. "You don't understand what Sophie's been through. She's fragile. You were just in the wrong place at the wrong time." I laughed bitterly, the sound catching in my throat. "You mean on the staircase?" She flinched. "Don't twist my words, Aaron. Sometimes it's better to let go of what hurts instead of holding on to it." As soon as she left, I texted Daniel everything. Within minutes, he replied, "Meet me tomorrow at 2 p.m. outside the hospital. I'll take you somewhere safe." But the next morning, before I could even get out of bed, the nurse rushed in, pale and shaking. "Aaron, your discharge papers were signed. Your parents are here to take you home." I froze. I never signed anything. Panic gripped me. I grabbed my phone, but it was gone. Sophie stood at the doorway, spinning it between her fingers with a smirk. "Let's go home, sis. Mom made your favorite dinner." Something inside me screamed that if I left with them, I might never come back. My heart raced as Sophie pushed my wheelchair down the hospital corridor. Every turn felt like a trap closing in. My parents walked ahead, whispering, their eyes darting toward me every few seconds. I could almost feel their fear that I might speak, that I might expose everything. When we reached the parking lot, Daniel's car screeched to a stop right in front of us. He jumped out, his face pale but determined. "Aaron, get in the car," he shouted. My father stepped forward, blocking his path. "You need to leave, boy. This is a family matter." Daniel didn't back down. "A family matter? You hid evidence from the doctors. You knew she had a metal fragment inside her and you lied." My mom's voice trembled. "You don't know what you're talking about." But before she could finish, the hospital security guard appeared, holding a clipboard. "Miss Aaron, the doctor needs to see you again. There's something urgent about your x-rays." That one sentence changed everything. My parents froze. Sophie's smirk disappeared. I wheeled myself back inside before they could stop me. The doctor was waiting with 2 officers standing behind him. He handed me a folder. "We had the fragment tested," he said slowly. "It's not just a piece of metal. It's from a necklace. The same one your sister wore the night of your fall." Sophie's scream echoed down the hallway as one officer stepped toward her. "This is insane!" she shouted. "It was an accident." But the evidence said otherwise. The necklace matched perfectly, even down to the missing curve of the pendant. My parents tried to defend her, but their words collapsed under the truth. Years of favoritism, lies, and emotional manipulation unraveled in seconds. For once, I didn't cry. I just sat there watching as the people who once made me feel small now stood trembling in front of the truth. Sophie was taken away, shouting my name in anger. My mom tried to reach for my hand, whispering, "You've ruined this family, Aaron." I looked her straight in the eye and said softly, "No, Mom. You ruined it the day you chose silence over justice." Weeks later, when I finally returned home, not to my parents' house, but my own apartment, I felt free for the first time. The scars still ached, but they reminded me that I survived the people who tried to break me. As I looked at the healed x-rays framed on my wall, the red circle gone, the wound mended, I smiled. The truth had hurt, but it also saved me. And the girl who once fell down the stairs was now standing tall, stronger, smarter, and finally unshakable. If you felt that chill of justice, don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment. Justice served. Because Aaron's story is just the beginning of standing up against silence.